midbrain divides in three parts. This part, and this. Until aqueduct. This lamina tecti. Lamina tecti. The roof plate. Lamina tecti. This part, tegmentum. And this is basis. The visible part of peduncle is called basis pedunculi cerebri. Good. Basis pedunculi cerebri. The base, the tegmentum, lamina tecti, and aqueductus cerebri. On section, it has narrow canal between the quadrigeminal lamina and peduncle. What pathways pass to the ventral part, basis, usually, through the pons, through the pyramids, through the midbrain? What functional?
Sensory.
In pyramids, pyramidal tract. Motor. They divide the ventral part, this basis pedunculi, into 5 portions. No, on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Through the middle part, your point and so on. These three fifth parts. From fifth parts, 3 fifth parts is pyramidal tracts. Pyramidal tracts. What 3 tracts pass through the pyramidal comprises? Cortica nuclearis, cortica spinalis lateralis, anterior. Where they pass? What? This and this. Cortica nuclearis and cortica spinalis lateralis, anterior. They pass through the base of peduncles, middle part. In front and behind, we have cortica pontine fibers. Continuation in the pons. You can see in the pons what longitudinal fibers go. Cortica pontine and pyramidal. They continue in the pons, in the ventral part of the pons. Pyramidal tract, and this will be frontal pontine, this will be occipital temporal parietal pontine. They separately go to the pons. To the pons go from the frontal lobe, so and from the parietal, occipital and temporal, separately go, and form synapse on nucleus pointus. Differently goes. Frontal pontine from middle part, parietal, occipital, temporal from the posterior part of the peduncle part. Thus you will schematically write here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What name have each tract? Fronta continuous, cortica nuclearis, cortica spinalis anterior, lateralis, parietal, occipital, temporal continuous. They pass through the base of the peduncle. In tegmentum, the central nucleus of tegmentum is, what is this? Nucleus ruber. Nucleus ruber. The main extrapyramidal nucleus, which connected with the cerebellar nucleus, with the basal ganglia, nucleus caudatus, lentiformis, nucleus claustrum. What function have extrapyramidal nucleus? Coordination, automatic movement. Nucleus ruber.
Coordination, automatic movements.
Coordination, automatic and muscular tone, regulated muscular tone. Their axons cross here and form what tract? Tractus rubraspinalis, which passes to the spinal motor neurons and then to the muscles. Rubraspinal tract. From nucleus ruber, rubraspinal tract. This is Monaco tract. Rubraspinal, by auto it is called Monaco tract. Monaco tract is formed after ventral decussation of tegmentum. This decussation is decussatio ventralis tegmentum, because here we have also decussation, but it is decussatio dorsalis. The forels, foral decussation, ventral decussation. It is important. The ventral decussation of the tegmentum. Rubrospinal, to the spinal cord, motor neurons, and then to the muscles or automatic neurons. What structure passes laterally? Laterally, like horn. This horn you draw. What sensory pathway passes laterally? Today you have studied it. From medulla oblongata comes through the pons here. What is this? Lemniscus medialis. You will explain position of lemniscus medialis in medulla oblongata, in pons, in midbrain. Where it is located, you will say in tegmentum on both sides of nucleus ruber, like horn-shaped structure. Near this come from the spinal cord, pain temperature, which is from lemniscus spinalis. From the head and neck region comes lemniscus trigeminalis, lemniscus spinalis, lemniscus trigeminalis, and laterally what lemniscus will lie here? What lemniscus comes from the pons laterally? Lemniscus lateralis also. Medialis lateralis. In tegmentum we can find on the floor near the aqueductus here in gray matter, this is substantia grisa centralis, the central gray matter around the aqueduct. On the floor of all brainstem floor, under the gray matter lie the formatio reticularis, of course, here. And the nuclei of the formatio reticularis, so-called nucleus Kahala and Darkshevich nuclei. Very important nuclei, which are reticular formation connecting bundle nucleus of fasciculus longitudinalis dorsalis and medialis. On the floor of the aqueduct, we have motor nucleus of the oculomotor nerve. This nerve arises from here. After half an hour. Они еще не рисовали. I can don't draw, but you must explain all this.
No, continue.
Oculomotor nerve fibers arise here, on medial side. And it has also parasympathetic tertiary Edinger-Westphal nuclei for innervation. Through sulcus oculomotorius arises the third pair. On the section of the lower collicles, we can find the four pair nuclei, but this is colliculus superior collicle, the third pair nuclei we can find. On lateral sides are nuclei of the trigeminal nerve. And here we have fasciculus longitudinalis dorsalis, fasciculus longitudinalis medialis. Подождите, in lamina propria we have
Тектум, тегментум и базис.
Все.
these nuclei tectalis, they form dorsal decussation here under the aqueduct. This is decussatio tegmenti dorsalis. This is ventralis, main neck and foral decussation. Tectospinal tract, which will go to the spinal cord. What function have tectospinal? Here are located the subcortical centers, visual and auditory.
Hearing.
All reflector movements performed through this. It is not from cortex starts, from subcortical nuclei, tecta. If tract starts from the cortex, it is conscious. It is unconscious. Reflector. It is called tectospinalis tract or visual and auditory reflector movement tract. You can listen something, very bright light, you can reflector movements performed, or listen something, very
Soft
sound, strong sound. You can reflector movements performed. This tract, ectospinal tract, decusated in dorsal part of tegmentum. This internal structure of midbrain. And all this internal structure you will connect and explain pathways. On next classes, conducting pathways, you will explain. For the foreventricle, last, foreventricle. By the way of explanation, I have explained the foreventricle has tent shape. It is common cavity of the derivatives of rhombencephalon, pons, medulla oblongata, and cerebellum. What shape it has? It has shape of the tent. It has floor, it has roof. Velum medullare inferior. Velum medullare inferior is not completely formed by neural mater, brain mater. The main part of the velum medullare inferior is formed by choroid telochoroidea. Choroid vascular cord, pia mater. After development of the pons and cerebellum, the full brain vesicle here become very, very thin. And medullary mater, brain matter, here is very reduces and become thin. And that is why pia mater, which passes under the cerebellum, is joined with the velum medullare inferior and form completely this inferior velum, caudal and rostral velum medullare superior inferior. Rhomboid fossa structure. You will schematically draw this rhomboid fossa between two peduncles, superior, inferior, and draw all structures that here you can find. Sulcus medianus, sulcus limitus, eminentia medialis, stria medullaris, folliculi facialis, area vestibularis, superior and caudal fossa, locus ceruleus, trigonum nervi vagi, trigonum nervi hypoglossal, trigonum nervi vagi, here, and all nuclei, projection from what pair of the cranial nerves? From 5 to 12. They arise from pons and medulla oblongata, yes? From 5 to 8 from pons, from 9 to 12 from medulla oblongata arise, cranial nerves. Their nuclei are located inside the brain matter, but they are projected on rhomboid fossa. They are projected nuclei of the cranial nerves from 5 to 12 projected on rhomboid fossa. What arrangement they have? The motor neurons, they are located near the midline, sensory, or lateral side. Between them, vegetative. Because the neural tube, in this part, it is open. And the posterior wall becomes so thin that replaced by pia mater. Velum medullare inferior is formed by telochoroidea, pia mater. And the dorsal part of the spinal cord, sensory nuclei, they have lateral position. Motor neurons, they are located in the center, and between them, this black color, parasympathetic vegetative neurons. So they are arranged. And the neurons, only name, you will draw and schematically draw this red color, motor neurons, blue, green, yellow color, sensory, and red color, and sensory, motor, and the black is vegetative. Their name important for cranial nerve study. After CNS, you will start cranial nerve. After spinal nerves. And cranial nerves, each cranial nerve, you must explain in what part of rhomboid fossa projected nucleus of this nerve. That is why now you can write. It is not comprised of this nuclei. We will not ask you during oral test, CNS, but we will ask on cranial nerves topic. That is why it is important mark all nuclei and their name. For next classes, what you will prepare, starting from isthmus of rhombencephaly until fourth ventricle.